Hello everyone. What you see here is me trying to salvage a page that I completely ruined. You'll see how I did it if you watch my daily journal, the creating of my daily journal. But here you're going to see me trying to create something completely new out of it, something that will make it useful again. So I decided I'm going to create a moon, but not our moon because I like fantasy and sci-fi, so I'm going to try to create a completely different moon slash planet, whatever. I'm going to use some acrylic paints. And I chose those colors because they blend well with the background. I'm hoping that they don't do it too much because they are mostly the same colors. But that's why I brought in the black and the white to adjust the edges. I'm going to water these colors down so that they're easier to work with. I was really frustrated with myself because I really had a specific reason for putting this page in my journal. Outer space is, if you know, well, you don't know me, but if you did, I love sci-fi, and so I watched Star Trek, which is the final frontier, and I just consider it what I'm doing in crafting on YouTube is a new frontier for me. It's a huge step for me. I am not really an outgoing person, but I really have enjoyed so much of all the other crafters, and I really wanted to bring how you guys have inspired me to the table, and I wanted you to see that and maybe give other people ideas as well. So that's what this page's symbol was, and I'm going to try to maintain that. And I repurposed this page so many times because as I was making this, I was thinking of putting it as my banner, and it may still be part of my banner, but in the end, it's actually going to end up back in my daily journal as a insert, or I'm going to glue it in. I was really pleased with the end result, but it was a lot of frustration to get there. So laugh at me, groan at me, roll your eyes, but I really enjoyed making this page. But so I did the shadows first with the black, and now I'm putting in the colors. I think when I made this part of the video, it was early morning and my husband's still sleeping. He works late hours, so I didn't want to wake him up. So I wasn't talking at all. And I knew I could just come back in and do this voiceover. I'm trying to create shadows, light side of the I'm going to call it the moon. It's not our moon, but it's a moon. Light side of the moon and a dark side of the moon. So the pink and the white are going to be the bright side, and the purple and the black are going to be the dark side, and the blue's going to kind of be highlights. I was surprised how well I was able to stay in the circle, even though I did get out a couple of times. I do not have the steadiest of hands, but I think I did so well with this because of the type of brush I chose. So I don't know names of brushes, but it's an angled brush and it's very precise. If anybody knows the name of type of brush it is, feel free to post it in the comments below. This moon is a symbol. I didn't think of it at the time, but purple's my favorite color. And pink was my mother's favorite color, and ever since she died, I seem to be throwing her colors into all of my stuff. So maybe this moon symbolizes a little bit of her and me. Now I'm bringing in the highlights. My original thought was to make it like swirls and stuff, but which you'll see here in a second. But I ended up going a completely different way. But as you can see, I'm starting to overwork the paper. This is not paper made for painting. It's just cardstock of something I bought at the store and added colors to. So it's been worked over a lot. So now I'm starting to worry about causing holes to go in the paper. So especially right there. Luckily, that did not happen. I am surprised. But I will eventually call it quits because the page needs a break, and I can't use my dryer, my heat gun, because my husband's asleep. So in my mind right now, I'm struggling trying to think of how to fix my issue, and my issue eventually was take a break and come back later. Just let it air dry. I am no professional at all by any means in painting. It's something I love to do, but I don't know any techniques. I just have fun with the paint, and I put it down on the page and see what happens. And that's why you're seeing a jumbled mess right here. But I really am happy with the end result that I had. I'm starting to realize that I don't want the swirls, and I'm starting to change it to the new technique. But I'm having two problems. I'm running out of time before work, and the page is getting too wet, so there are a lot of really bad spots on this page that I don't fix. It's because they will be hidden at the end. You won't be able to see them because of what I do. There's a point right here. Right here is where I see that I'm pulling away the paper, and I'm like, okay, the paper's overworked. It's time to call it quits. Which is what I do. In the next part of the page, the filming, you'll see I had made adjustments off screen because I was at lunch and I didn't have time to film it that day. But you will see the changes. My issue is that I want it to blend, but I don't want to blend too much because different parts of planets and moons are just different colors. I was going to come in with a new color, a blend of colors, but at that point I realized I was just going to work the page too hard, and I said no, and I said I'll take a break, and you'll see the result here in a second. After I made the changes off screen. Okay, so I came back and I did some more work on the planet, but it was at lunchtime and I didn't want to have to deal with recording, so I apologize you didn't see that part of it. It probably still needs some work on it if I was showing it just like this, but I'm going to put it behind this little frame, and I haven't decided if I want to do it this way or this way. So that's why I cut such a big piece, but I think I'm going to do it this way. Just kind of have the moon, we call it a moon, it's a foreign moon, in the corner, and then I can maybe have some plants or something growing down there. What I did with this is just I damaged it right there, but I'm going to make it work. It's just a sheet of paper, and I turned it over and I measured little squares out, and then I cut them out with an X-Acto knife and a cutting board. But before I did that, I was going to do this after, but I did it before. I drew little, like, I didn't do much detail. I just did squiggly lines to kind of make it look like bark. The reason I did that before I cut them out is because now I have these little things to use later on something else. But so I think I'm going to do it this way, but I want to make this look more like a frame. So I've made it look like wood, but I want to make it more like a frame. So I'm going to do some lines on all of the edges inside and outside. So that's going to take a minute. And so I thought I would explain all that to you. And oh, and I did that with yeah, the 8. These are archival, so they don't bleed. And I think I don't think that's thick enough for what I want to do, so I think I'm going to switch to the graphic. There's got a kind of a, but I know I'm going to mess up on the side, so a culture shock. And because I know I'm such a superb straight line drawer, sarcasm, I'm going to pull this out. I could do this in my distressed oxides, but I don't think it's going to be dark enough. I really want it to be solid. I'm almost wondering if I do it with paint. There it goes. There's them going. Are y'all seeing that? Let me look. I'll get you a little closer. Hopefully I don't bring this out of range. I love these pins. Not necessarily this one, but I got them from a recommendation on this when I was watching people draw maps, because it fascinates me, and you need a bunch of different tip the width of the tip, so you can get different impressions on your maps, which also comes in handy in so many kinds of drawings, but that didn't work. So now I'm trying to plant some flowers in the windowsill, like they're growing outside the window. And I just want it's nighttime, and I just want the impression of the flowers. So I just want the shadows. I wanted just to have an impression of them, but my problem was I was out of my black archival ink. I'd let it dry up, and so I had to make do with what I had, which was the purple and the blue. But they weren't showing up as much as I wanted. It's exactly the look I was going for. It just wasn't dark enough. So now I'm trying to figure out what to do. So I thought, well, let's add the flowers, see what the flowers do. Maybe if the flowers stand out more, then it's okay that the leaves don't stand out so much. So here's, you see me placing them in the window. And I was like, well, maybe the purple is a better color. Maybe it's just the blue that was not going to show up enough. But it was a poor decision, because what's in the background? Purple. So it blends right into the background. But I tried. That's great at being a rogue. So we go back to the blue. I'm going to try and place the blue right over it. And because I just washed this stamp off with a damp towel, it was wet again, so the ink was wet, so it makes this flower stand out pretty well. It's taken me a while because I'm trying to get the flower right on top of the purple flower. So it stands out pretty well, but still, I still wish I had the black. But we are committed now. We're proceeding on. We're going to do the other flowers. That's me placing them. I had never thought about putting the stamps down and then putting the block over it, so I know exactly the placement, so I may do that technique a lot more in the future. But these stamps weren't wet, so when I stamped them in the ink pad and then placed them down, they don't stand out as much as the other one did. And instead of realizing that at the time, I thought, well, it must be the stamp difference, so I went back to the other stamp. But you live and learn. So I'm going to put the other stamp right on top of these. And I just keep muddling the background more and more. And eventually I'll get frustrated and I'll step away from those and move back to the moon. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to let that rest. Trying to figure out what to do. What can I do to make this better? Because I'm not happy with it yet. So then I realized I had this pigment powder that I've never used before. Please remember that and be kind. I was like, well, maybe I'll make some stars in the background. I wish I had done this with the embossing powder, but I did not. And all I did was make a horrible mess. It looked cool, but it was not what I was going for, and now I had 3 ugly dots on my... These definitely were not stars. So I'm just trying to wipe all of that off, but I realize that's a pretty cool effect. Let's do that to the moon. This be, I guess whatever sun's in this galaxy is casting a light on this side of the moon. And that's a pretty cool effect, in my opinion. I really liked that. I think I went back in off camera at some point. I don't know when I did it, but I know I crisped back up the lines around that moon with archival pen. I just take the stencil I used at the beginning and I put it back on the moon and I draw that line again to have a clear definition, since the background is so similar. And so I let this rest for a while. Okay, so I absolutely love this effect. So I'm not happy with the flowers. I did want them to be just like a casting a shadow, but the background is so dark you can't see the darkness of the shadow. So instead, I'm going to make them iridescent in the light of the night, because this is obviously not Earth. That's not our moon. So they can be whatever I want them to be. And I looked up, because this was the first time I ever used this, so I was just curious. It's pigment powder from Reflections. And so I looked it up, after the fact, like I do. And there's several different ways to apply it. And so I'm going to do the flowers a different way. I'm going to use water. And then those will just be a shadow in the background of the flowers. Let's see if this works. If it doesn't, then I'll have to come up with a plan B. Okay, that didn't work. So what we're going to do is let that dry. Put this back in here. And I'm going to apply it. Well, maybe I shouldn't have put that back in there. I think I'm going to have to apply it directly to the stamp. That's what I'm going to do. Make the stamp wet. Hope I'm not running my stamp. Maybe. This is the same flower, but it's lower down. I could be burning this. And if I do, you'll never know because I won't show it to you. I don't know if I should do the plants or not. Trying to figure out what that is. Is it another one of these? That's that thing, I think. I need this. Maybe when this dries, I can come back over it with the stamp then.
that's what I'm going to do, because I'm not happy with its current visualization. So I'm just going to smooth it all out. Wash those. Sometimes I think my projects take way longer than they're supposed to. One thing's for certain, my desk is going to be nice and shiny when it's done. Problem with doing that directly to the stamp, let me show you. It's now it's in the little cracks. Okay. Oh, that's way watery. Oh, look at that, but it's working. My stamps are old, so unless I make it a little damp, they always tend to. Just gonna bring that out right there, like that. Oh, that's cute. You know, it doesn't have one over here, but I'm gonna try to add one. Right there. It's okay. We'll add some more of those. I don't know why I did that. I'm not going to see it. There. That's plenty. There's a lot of bad spots on this, but most of it, I wasn't too worried about it because most of it is going to get covered by this. Then I had window thing to put on top of that, and now I've lost it. That's what happens. I'm at lunch right now, but I do this little bit at lunch, and I've misplaced my window. This one's much nicer. Trying to get this cut before the glue hardens. I see something I did wrong. Ugh. Ah! That looks much nicer, so it was meant to be. Never stress about things that go wrong. Sometimes you end up with a better result. That could just be a scrape on the window. I'm gonna let that stay. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up into your face. Sure that was pleasant. I probably shouldn't film at lunch. I should probably only edit because I feel rushed. I'm not taking the care that I should. Been for the longest time keeping every single little scrap because everybody says it always has a use, but I have gotten so much lately of just like, I'll keep scraps of the good paper, but just random bits of paper that's just like normal copy paper. I struggle with, I mean, it's not the best type of paper to use in this anyway. I use it because it's available to me right now. Will eventually upgrade. Okay, let's see what that does. Oops. you think, guys? I think we have a win. Been a little messy down here, but hey, grunge. Grunge and sparkles. Do they go together? Well, they do now. So I'm going to glue this and call this done. And I'm going to use this special little glue right here for this. Again, probably not supposed to be using it on this, but I'd rather use it instead of getting it into the windows. So I'm going to just put it on the very edge. I'm not going to make this a pocket because of all the sparkles on the inside. Oh, and also because of its purpose. You'll see its purpose soon enough. It's not going to be in a journal. Maybe just, I don't really want it pressing against it. Just little bits. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't have glued it all, as much as I've struggled getting this on here. Here's the culprit of all my nastiness. And let's do final trimming. Do a final edging with some distressed ink or oxide powder. Just to get rid of the white edges. Should have cut the cellophane before I put it on the back, but I was worried about other things at the time. And did I want to battle with the cutting the edge off or battle with messing up the cellophane? And I chose to battle with this for better or for worse. Because I've been, with this specific thing, I've been edging everything in a dark black. I think I'm going to use the black Soot. That's espresso. I always say that wrong. I really need a better organization for these. Oh, look. Wasn't even in there. That's why I was struggling. Oh my goodness. Well, that was a near catastrophe. Luckily, it was mostly just water. I dumped a bunch of water to the back of my desk, so I had to crawl under the desk and get it all cleaned out. Fun. Okay. And some of the water spilled on this. Luckily, it didn't get on this, on the clear plastic part. I feel like I don't know if you can see it, but I don't know if it was cut or scraped, but I see white right there and it's bugging me. So we're going to try and do that. Now that I've done that. And hopefully the next episode you'll see what its purpose is. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like, subscribe if you enjoyed it. Thank you so much.